The dust has now settled at least a little bit from Tuesday night's Republican presidential candidates debate, the one sponsored by us at the Wall Street Journal, along with our friends at Fox Business. You know, one of the questions that comes up after every debate is who won? To me, it's a little bit of a dangerous question because what does it mean to win a debate? And winning is pretty much in the eye of the beholder and often is determined compared to what people expected rather than what really happened. But let's look at least at the question of who did well in this debate. We did an online survey afterwards with Google's help, and in that survey, the winners were declared to be Donald Trump, Marco Rubio, followed by Ted Cruz and Ben Carson. Interestingly, I think a lot of people in the punditry journalism came away thinking two guys who clearly did do well were Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz, the kind of young senators, conservatives, but one, Marco Rubio, having a little more establishment appeal, one, Ted Cruz, being a little bit more of a Tea Party and anti-establishment character. But they both acquitted themselves well on the stage. Everybody seems to agree about that. A couple of the mystery candidates, Jeb Bush, I thought he did reasonably well. There were high expectations for him. Some people thought he fell short of that. I think he did well enough to continue. Some people were trying to pull the plug on the Bush campaign. I don't think that happens at this point. John Kasich certainly inserted himself a lot. Some people I've talked to thought he went a little too far in inserting himself in this debate, may have hurt himself there. Certainly Rand Paul did the same thing from a more libertarian point of view and went back to some of his original principles. I think the mystery character in this debate's aftermath, as in so much of this campaign, is still Donald Trump. In some ways he faded from the conversation for significant stretches during the debate, but again, you ask viewers, he does reasonably well. Final thought, I think one winner last night was Chris Christie in the early debate, the one I helped moderate. I think he stood out in that crowd. He's found his voice in the last couple of weeks. He's moving in New Hampshire. I think he helped his cause last night. The early debate was fairly heavily watched. I think one interesting question is how much did Chris Christie help himself in the Tuesday night debate?